Look, y'all. Every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring 1 thing of McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like that bogus as hell. Like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing 1 child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got 1 thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just 1 burger? 1 burger, 1 fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings
Lisa,
though.
He's
not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating no McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I gotta bring my son food? I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that shit dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring 1, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting 1 child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's? So you know I get food stamps on the 11th.
3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. What
yeah,
like?
they're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, the I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of all the kids? They're not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Why are you recording?
Because I'm exposing you. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy.
I am a good daddy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with 1 piece of food for 1 child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all then. He can't take that shit. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had 1 or 2, I could maybe. You got, it's 3 extra kids. What the f***? You all like going to my motherfucking account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with? That's the one you gonna
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
They're my, so that means
yeah.
I take care of them.
So I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring 1 something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. Lisa, you know I get my food stamps on the 11th.
Your babies.
Okay, but I'm saying we share the same kid as well.
Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel the way about him eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my kid in the room.
Him down to the car. He ain't got to eat in front of his brothers and sisters. He can come right out to the car and eat with me.
No. You know what? Fine. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it here. Give it here. Give it here.
You sound stupid.
Dumb. He ain't eating this. You.
Why the you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. Selfish as a like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He not finna eat that shit. Dumb.
Take care of him anyway.
Dumb. He not finna do that. If you can't do it for all, don't do it for none of them. Bye, stupid.
Now, you would have seen the clip at the beginning of this episode. It was the viral video of a woman fighting a baby daddy that involves McDonald's, as they would say in America, McDonald's. That's how they say it in America now, McDonald's. Yeah, so that took the internet by storm. And you know us in Trashes, we're always harvesting things off the internet, especially things that blow up like this. So in the video, you could see the woman actually screaming at the man for getting McDonald's for his own son, actually their child together, and not getting for the other 3 children that she supposedly had by other baby daddies. You see, shame not they catch some people. And the entire video, there was a spat of words back and forth. So I now said, the whole Twitter feed is divided. Let's bring it in so that the trashians of the trashians can judge this. On the panel today, I've got my gorgeous co-host Celia. Ogo, it's been a minute. Welcome back. And obviously the man behind the mask, not Leonardo DiCaprio, is Jago Jansis. Welcome to Trash It. So let me just start bubbling everybody's eye up. Let me go to you, Ogo, because I know you've got very strong views about people having sense of entitlement. Looking at that video, is this man wrong or right? As in, mom put the dad on blast because he brought food for one child. What about other children? She's accused him of kind of alienating their son and think he should bring food for the rest of the children. So what's your take on this?
Thank you very much. Initially, when I watched that video, I thought that the other kids belongs to the man. And I was like, oh, wow, what's he doing? But after going into it, I now realized that he only had a son with this lady. So I said to myself, why is she making a fuss out of it? If they were living together and he's buying for his own son and not buying for the other kid, that's when I would say, oh, no, this is not right. But there's no relationship again between both of you. So he has no obligation to buy food for the other kids. Where are their father? Is it because he's having his own, doing his own responsibility for your son that you feel that he has to have that obligation for the other kids? Is it because he's being a good dad? Well, I would say that it's entirely up to the man to decide whether he's buying for the other kids or not. She can't force him. I think there's something else going on with that woman. She's not well. Trust me.
Well, mental health issues?
Whatever it's called, I don't know.
Okay, so Olga, in your view, the guy is right.
Well, I won't say he's right or wrong. Let him, he's doing what he feels he has to do for his child. It's entirely up to him if he wants to, maybe once in a while, if he feels like buying for the other kid. That depends on how the relationship is between him and the woman. If he has a good relationship with that woman, I'm sure he will want to buy for the other kids. But if he doesn't, it's entirely up to him. I won't say he's right or wrong.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Ogo, not sure. Celia, I know you have a soft heart with your church mind. Let me come to you. Because when I saw this, I was like, this is ridiculous.com. But what do you think? Is this man right? Is he wrong? Is this, like she said, you're alienating my kids?
It's a very tricky one, because when I first saw the video, I thought she had a problem. I thought she had a problem, because at the end of the day, where does it stop? I think she has 2 or 3 other kids with her. And the man's child is the third or the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me, what if he does not have money? What if he don't? McDonald's meal is not that cheap. Let's assume he wants to buy a kid's meal, yeah? And let's assume kid's meal is £5, yeah? Here, kid's meal is like £3 something. So let's say that's like $5 in America. And for him to be able to buy for all those other children, he needs at least $20 to do that. What if he doesn't have that? What if he sincerely does not have $20 to buy McDonald's for the 4 meals? We might look at it and laugh and say, oh, please, he was just being stingy, but maybe he wasn't. And at the end of the day, where does it stop? So if he buys clothes for his child, he has to buy for the woman's other children as well. Do you understand? So I really did not understand what her issue was. Maybe, yes, I can see how the other children might feel that their father didn't buy them McDonald's. Right. And as August said, I don't know what the relationship is between the woman and the man. It obviously isn't good from that video, because if it was good, if the man was buying McDonald's for his child, he could have called her and said, listen, I'm bringing McDonald's for my son. I don't have enough money to buy for the other kids. Do you want to send me some money to buy for all of them? Yeah, to buy for your own 3 kids with the other men. And then it will look as though, they all have the McDonald's together. But if they don't have a good relationship, he's not going to want to do that. He's just going to want to buy McDonald's for his child and keep it moving. And for the woman to toss the food on the road, that's not on. That is not on, because at the end of the day, we're the fathers of the other children. So because the fathers of the other children cannot step up, this man's child must suffer because you don't want the other children to feel left out, right? So anyway, I don't want to go into the second phase of it because I know you might, because she came and gave a response. So maybe when we get there, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I just feel her response was too much.
Thank you. Java Jantis, as a man, you know, that always look out for their children, do you think this guy is wrong in his mannerism? Because obviously, like Celia and Ogo have said, like they're women, they're mothers, and they have the opinion that really and truly he shouldn't, or if he wants to, mom should chip in. So is this man right based on your view of the video?
Well, if we want to really, really apply elderly wisdom, you know, from the angles of people who have been in this world, seen more than enough, I'll say it is not about what the man thinks or what the woman thinks. We need to, first of all, consider what the kids think among themselves. What kind of relationship do they have? We need to remember that they all come from the same womb, okay? So, as a man, you don't need to be sat down and be educated on why or the need to remember that there are other kids who are siblings to your son in that house, because what you will end up doing is you end up creating enemies for your son in the house. Even if the mom embraces you and say, oh, thank you so much. Oh, Junior, go into your room and eat. And that would into that room and eat alone. And other kids are there like, what? You know, they don't understand whether, oh, his dad is different, our dad is different. Yes, they may know, but they don't understand that fact. They just think, yes.
But Bidemi, sorry to cut you in, but Bidemi, shouldn't this be where the mother needs to teach the children how to share? I'm sorry, but this is where the mother needs to teach the children how to share. If it's one Happy Meal burger, get a knife, cut it into 4, and take half a piece each and share. Yeah, they can share. If you cannot afford to buy McDonald's for all of them, then let them share.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait. So when you're talking about sharing, that is another angle. It is what gets into their hand they will share. If it doesn't get to them, they can't share it. Now, from my own experience, when growing up, I had some close family friends who grew up in the same kind of atmosphere. And today, the ones that their dad didn't have money, they're all rich now. They're in the Western world. You know, they send money home to friends, but their sibling, whose dad was always looking after, they don't send anything to him. He is stranded in Nigeria. And when you try to speak to them, they will tell you things like, well, when he had it all, they didn't care about the rest of us. The dad was always about him. They didn't give us the opportunity to bond. The dad would come, take him away, he will go for holiday, enjoy himself, come back. But the dad didn't last long. The dad passed away. Now, you see that period when they're growing up, that's the time they need to bond and see themselves as one, okay? This is not only between siblings, even cousins. If some people see themselves as superior because their father, in my own family, I had cousins who their dad used to think, because they were professors at the time, living in university quarters, traveling abroad, studying abroad, and my own parents were just businessmen and mom was a nurse. They saw us like a bad influence on their children. They didn't give us the chance to bond, and now they want to bond with us. It is too late. Now we're doing fine. We're all educated to master's level, even planning to do PhD, so that we too can be at that professor qualification level, so that nobody can come and say, oh, we went to school more than this one. But now we're doing better than them. We're not even thinking about having doctorate degrees or anything. But right now we're better than them. I can say that publicly. But now they want to be close to us. It is too late. That closeness looks kind of artificial. Do you get? Okay. So when you're coming in, you have to think that these kids, when they're growing up, the fact that you're allowing one child to have a different treatment to this one is going to create some kind of barrier.
Okay. Right. So now the child must suffer for the sins of the mom. The mom should be the one thinking this and
that's
keep her
not
legs
suffering.
short to different
That's
men,
not
not the child.
That's not suffering.
Can
What you
I?
have to
It's
think about
suffering.
Jagbajantis, hold on. Let me just ask the three of you, based on what Jagbajantis and what Sila is saying. Sila was saying they should divide it into 4. And thinking in hindsight, how much is Happy Meal? It's not even enough for one child. Why?
Another thing she could have done is buying for those 3 children at the same time or before the dad bring for the other son. That's another thing she could have done.
See,
you
the
know the
thing
best
is,
thing to do to save this trouble.
Bidemi, I can't hear you. Speak up a bit.
The best thing to do when coming to this kind of atmosphere, come, hello, I want to take this child out. Take him out.
Yeah, maybe that.
Have a time with him. When he's with you, feed him whatever you want to feed him. Bring him back home. Come and drop him. Don't come and say you drop food for the boy and you're gone. It's not good. That's not good enough.
Can I just come in 2 seconds? Because looking at, and we're going to touch on the mom's response. Looking at the mom's mannerism, she appears to be that kind of mom that doesn't let this supposed dad take the son out. Because the dad offered in the video and said, bring my son out, let me take him into the car. And she said no. Do you think this mom has a sense of entitlement?
Yes, she does.
Of course, she was already offended. She was already furious. You've already showed up. You wanted to give your son only a food. There is no way she's going to embrace you taking the child into the car. The manner of the woman was off the hook. Obviously, when you're dating a child, or what do they call it in America, trap or whatever, if you're dating that standard of a woman, obviously you can't expect any less. That's the behavior. So her behavior was totally wrong. The way she went about it, totally wrong. But what she was fighting for was genuine.
Okay, so on one side, this trash is not like Twitter now, because one side we have yes, we have no. Given what you just said, Jagbajantis, should men then stop dating women who already have children, or wrap it up so that situations like this don't happen? Because look, this mom is a veteran when it comes to having children. She's got 3 already. This guy comes and deposits his 4th. So if you're dating, oh, you're smiling. If you're dating women that already have children, should you then not date them or wrap it up? And I'll go to the women first before I come to Jagbajantis, because it appears we're the ones that are behind this being lit here.
If you want to date a woman that has children, not even one child, now children. See, to be honest with you, Bidemi, I understand what you're saying, and I can look at it from the other kid's point of view, and I can understand how they will feel. I, as a mother, I wouldn't like that. But it is not the responsibility of the man that you had just one child for, to now be thinking of, okay, I only have 10 pounds. I want to buy something for my son, but I cannot buy for my son because the other children are going to feel left out. What kind of a mentality? How is that?
No. It is no responsibility. You don't get it. This is no responsibility. This is just courtesy.
No,
it's like you're
courtesy, responsibility is same difference, because now he has to go through that thought process to think, how am I going to do it so that everybody is happy? And the fact, I know McDonald's meal is small, right? But I still think there is a lesson to be learned from this for those children. And just the way you're saying, Bidemi, that when those children's parents will come and buy things for the children, and the other ones will be looking and say, oh, my father didn't buy for me. But at the end of the day, if, as this man brought this burger and the mom said, okay, Jamie's dad has brought this burger, but all of you are going to share it, they would understand the concept of sharing. And no matter how small, whatever it is they have they should understand that since they're all brothers, there's love in sharing, okay? And then those other children will see that, oh, they would remember, I remember when your father used to bring burger, even though it was one, all of us used to share it. Those are some of the stories that we as adults, we tell now with our siblings, with our cousins. So I don't think the man should be punished for not buying for the other children, because there's no end to this. The woman is very, she's very, very, what did you call it, Yuri? She's
very vindictive,
yeah,
very entitled,
very entitled. So if the man buys if the man goes clothes shopping for his son, he must also buy for the other children.
No, that's not the case. You see, the tone, when you look at the tone when they started,
she's a trap mom.
There was an underlying issue.
Yeah.
The burger wasn't the problem. Both of them were being petty because of an underlying issue.
The woman did say the man is always doing that, and she keeps telling him
that.
Right?
We'll come to that, Celia.
So she knew his worth. She knew he could afford more than that. But she knew he was trying to prove a point that now that we're no longer together, those kids are no longer my responsibility. I may have been doing it before, I'm not doing it again. So he's been coming, not doing it, coming, not doing it. But she knows that he can afford it. If he couldn't afford it, she didn't
yeah, but
that.
Bidemi,
No,
I don't
What
know. Sorry, Yori. Bidemi, see, at the end of the day, it's not the woman's money, it's the man's money. The child is the man's child. We cannot
the
then
child
say
is the woman's child too.
I know, but we cannot now say that, yeah, even if he can afford it, he has to do it. We can't, even if it's children that are involved, I understand, but not everybody thinks the way we do. Do you understand? So we cannot now say he has to understand and he can afford it, so therefore he should do it. We cannot force people to do what they don't want to do. As you said, we don't know how they broke up. So why does he have to take responsibility of the woman's other children? Those children's father, do they take responsibility for his own son?
Okay. Hold on, Jawajantis, before you answer that.
Is not taking responsibility.
We'll
be picking them up, dropping them, buying them clothes and all those things. It's just Happy Meal.
Hold on. If you're not sure if it's just Happy Meal, McDonald's does all menu. They do double box. We are not even going to do advertisement for McDonald's because they need to pay for this. So, but let's go back to that question that I've asked you, and I'll go to Ogo before I go to Jawajantis. Like I said, is it at this point then you start ciphering things like, okay, this woman has 3 children. If I'm coming to this mix, let me wrap up and not deposit another child, or not just date women that have children.
Yeah.
Ogo, should men start thinking that way? Like, okay, you have children already, so what's the deal?
No, I wouldn't advise them to think that way. It's all about love and understanding. If there's a good relationship, trust me, even if they broke up and they still have good relationship, there's nothing stopping that man from buying food for those kids. Just like Celia did mention earlier, the mom could have said, oh, please, can you take this money and buy if you don't have any extra to buy for the other kids, just to make them have one. That doesn't stop men from dating women that have kids. No, that shouldn't. It's just about the relationship, trust me.
Okay.
Yeah, so between these two, I don't think there's a good relationship. So the man cannot be forced by that woman to do it if he doesn't want to do it.
So now that you guys have sort of watched the mom's response, because what the mom was saying is that the dad knew that EBC or EBS card is like some food stamp card was not, let's stop rolling your eyes. A food stamp card was not coming till the following week. He knew that she didn't have money. He knew her circumstances and he chose to be petty. So, and that's number one. And number two, she said that the man used to buy stuff for the children. And this is another way of the man being petty. This was something that he was doing before. So for her asking, it's not something new. So the question is like, when we break up, does that mean you stop loving the people that you used to mess with?
You see where I'm going. Thank you.
But you know, I understand where you're going, Bidemi, but that man is under no obligation. That's what you have to remember. That man is under no obligation. It is just out of the goodness of his heart and morals.
So what happens to that goodness? Is the goodness dead?
But he can decide not to have that goodness now.
Yeah, maybe he was pretending in the first place. Yeah, maybe he was pretending previously to love the kids.
And maybe going back to your question,
I will quote you.
You quote me. You're going back to your question. Remember, maybe what they need to do when a man is marrying.
Hold on, Jagbajansis, I'll come to you. Hold on.
When a man is marrying a woman that already has children, please don't go there and 3 months later you are impregnating her. Why don't you try and marry her first before you have another child with her? Because what if that relationship does not work? Then what? Yeah, because now this burden becomes the burden of the second or the third or the fourth man that's going to come into the woman's life. Yeah, and before you know it, this woman already has 4 children, and the other man that is not going to come into her life will not be buying McDonald's for all the 4 children that he knows nothing about because he's dating the woman. Do you understand? So this is a vicious circle. And as I said, Bidemi, it is out of the goodness of his heart that he can say, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to buy McDonald's for all those children. If he decides he's going to be an asshole and he's not going to do it, you cannot hold him to ransom. You can't.
Don't go there showing up with one meal. Take your child, say, oh, I'm taking my son.
You can't ask him not to do that either. You can't ask him not to do that either.
So now let me give you two things. Now pick. You wanting to be petty with your girl and doing for your son alone, and your son is growing in the middle of enmity. Okay? Which one would you choose?
And that is why I said, if I'm the mom, if I am the mother, I will share that if I know my food stamps are coming next week, bring that McDonald's, thank you very much, bring it. I will share it among the 4 children. Yes, I will cut it into 4, and you will have 4 equal halves, and you share it. Yes, there is love in sharing. There is love in sharing.
And she should be happy that she has a man that's even buying food for his son. What about the other men? Where are they?
The man is married and has his own wife and other children. So maybe he has 3 children somewhere else and one with you. Then he wants to buy McDonald's. He will now buy McDonald's for 8, I'll be 7 children.
Wait, there is somebody, I'm sure you all know him, is a big influencer on Instagram. Based in America, married to this lady, and they have about 3 kids together. The last born, there was a time the girl, was always visiting her dad, would come back and blah, 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 because she wanted to go see her parents. The last born belonged to a politician in Nigeria. He didn't know. At some point, problems started happening, blah, blah, blah. He would put audio recorder under the car seat when the girl drives out. And when she comes back, he will go down, remove it, and play it for over 8 hours. He will fast forward, he will rewind, he will slow it, And he knew that she was seeing somebody in Nigeria. He was a politician. And then he went to do DNA test for the 3 kids to find out that the last one doesn't belong to him. And that's the girl. He had always wanted a girl. 2 boys, 1 girl. So that girl, daddy, my daddy, he loves that girl like crazy. He said, Akin, we went to a barbecue party last Saturday because he's visiting, he's in London now. He said, Akin, what will I do? I love that girl. That girl is my daughter. Every day, the girl is grown up now. Every day they call me, she will call me and say, I just spoke to your daughter. She said she called you that you were going to send her some money. You haven't sent the money. Sweetheart, I'll send it. He is still paying for her school fees. Now, it is not because, I asked him, I said, why? It is not because it is, what's that thing called? What's that mentality thing we always say?
Entitlement.
Not out of entitlement, not out of entitlement mentality, but there is a connection between him and that girl.
Absolutely.
There is a connection between that girl and his 2 sons. So, whatever the case may be, even if the politician has all the money in the world, the fact still remains they are siblings.
Yeah.
I can't be doing for my 2 sons alone and not do for that girl. That girl is still my girl. Whatever differences I have with the mother, let it end between me and the mother. That girl is innocent. She didn't ask to be brought to this world, and does everything he likes for the girl. The woman can't go to the girl's father to be asking for money. Is it when you're able to get to the politician? Is that not when you'll be asking for this and that? But it is, I don't want to, thank God I didn't mention his name. I was so close. It is him.
Think about this. In this situation, this child, I presume, still lives with this man. He's responsible for this child. The child probably still.
They're not living together.
They're not living together. Oh, that's so strange. Mind of
moved out of the house long time. He moved to Nigeria and was doing business. And then now he's trying to come to UK. He has blue passport. He wants to come to UK to come and test the waters. He's still in UK now.
But Bidemi, if I heard the story correctly, this is a child that the man thought was his child, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine
and you can understand the bond.
No, you're living with a woman. Which one will break your heart the most? You're living with a woman. You've been caring for that child only for you to find out that you've been caring for a bastard. God
Yeah.
forbid.
Yeah, yeah, but I understand that, and as I said, there was already a bond before he found out, right? That the
There
child
was
was
already a
wrong.
bond between the child and the guy and their son before you started bringing McDonald's.
Yeah, and with that, I totally understand that the man will still want to act and still take care of the child as if he never even heard the news that the child was not his. But this child is the last
that
child.
one is more dangerous. You
Sorry?
already know what you're going into. This one is more dangerous when you're living with a woman and he brought that kind of girl into your family. It's different from you wanting to date somebody who already had kids. You know what you're going into.
But that's what I'm
going to be with
saying.
somebody
Bidemi,
yeah.
that is exactly what I'm saying, because that bond is already there between the man and the daughter, and he has always wanted the daughter. He thought the child was his child, so he will, and the child and his other two sons already share a bond. So he's going to continue to want to do everything because he still sees the girl as his child. Not this one. The woman already had 3 children, and now this guy's own is the 4th child. So of course, the man, he doesn't have any bond like that with them. So he can go to McDonald's and buy 1 meal and he will not feel it.
You think it's easy to
not
affect
there.
somebody? You think it's easy for a girl under your roof to go out of your house, go and open her legs for someone, bring the pregnancy back home, and then you accept it? And then comparing that with somebody who already has a structure. I'm just coming here to date you. I love you. I love your kids. No, it's not easy.
It's not easy. And that's why I'm saying, this guy that bought 1 McDonald's meal was easily detached because he does not have that bond with that woman's other children.
Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's talk about attachments, because that's another a segment that I want us to go to. Because I'm thinking of the children here. We've got 4 boys. Are they actually all boys?
I don't know, but let's assume they are.
So we've got 4 boys that potentially might grow up to resent their younger brother.
Exactly.
You understand? So don't you feel that these children, as in the other 3, in as much as I understand that their dad should have been there for them, and this was a guy that they probably saw as a father figure, is feeling less loved, and this may impact on their psyche by kind of bullying the boy? Celia?
You okay?
Yeah, then I'll go to Ogo.
I've said it before. See, at the end of the day, you cannot tell somebody how to behave. You cannot tell an adult man how to behave.
No, but I want you to think about those children.
Yes, so this is where the mother comes in. Okay, this is where the mother comes in, because yes, let's think about those 3 children. They are going to have resentment towards their other brother that always receives McDonald's and all of that. But don't also forget the fact that if the woman stops that boy's father from bringing McDonald's, which he already knows that every Wednesday afternoon, my father brings McDonald's for me. But because my father does not buy for my siblings, my mom stopped it. So how do you think that's also going to affect the psyche of that child? That is why I said the best thing to do here, if the mom cannot afford to buy McDonald's for all of them, then let her share the McDonald's. That is not the boys' evening food. Hold on 1 minute. That is not the boys' evening food. That McDonald's is just like, for instance, now you take your kids out, and once you guys are asked, okay, let's go to McDonald's, let's have ice cream. It's just something you just eat. That is not your evening food. When you get home, you still give those children food. So that McDonald's for that boy at the time is just something that my daddy bought for me. Why can't you share it with your other brothers? Period. The mom is the one that is responsible now to make sure that, okay, I don't want to stop this man from bringing something for his son, but at the same time, how do I manage this situation I found myself? Share the McDonald's for all the children. They chop and clean out. When you reach house, give them food. Except she wants to use the McDonald's as evening food for all the children. That is why she's that sharing.
That sharing.
Is coming.
That sharing can only work among baby toddlers or kids between the age of 5 to 10. Once they are getting to the age of 11, 12, 13, 14, either you share it with them or not, they will collect it, but they see the drama. They know your dad doesn't really love us. They know, they're not stupid. They know your dad doesn't really love us. Mom is just forcing
on top
us to
1 McDonald's.
Exactly. Mommy is just trying to make it look like it's peaceful where we love one another.
Jawajantis, before you go further, is this the man's responsibility to love these other 3 children? Isn't he just supposed to love on his own?
So when we're talking about love,
I'm just asking.
Just yes or no, we do for that one. No,
No, I'm just asking.
Write an episode.
Let Jawajantis explain.
either they're from that girl or from a third party or from somebody else, we should never let our emotions stop us from being nice to kids. It doesn't
How
matter
many
whether
men
they're our
thinks
kids.
about that?
But do
How many men
you
thinks that way?
even think if the man cannot sincerely afford it, Sha? Have you thought about the fact that the man may not actually be able to afford it?
Do you know, Jawajantis, before you talk, before you
helping to create,
Jawajantis,
that
before
is
you
being a devil's advocate.
hold on,
Jawajantis. To
Jawajantis.
create scenario. But we
Jawajantis,
already saw what's in the video.
hold on. Before you respond to both Celia and Ogo, I want you to think of this. Don't you think you are kind of creating a sense of entitlement even in these young men to think another man must love them, and then that can play out if
Loving
that person
someone doesn't cost a thing.
Okay.
Taking responsibility costs
I don't
so
know
much.
which book you are reading from today. I don't know which book you are reading from.
No,
That
this
book, not the
is
Bible.
Different things.
This
Love
is good.
doesn't cost a thing. Taking
doesn't.
responsibility costs so much.
Hmm.
When you love those kids, Mom, me and you, we don't roll together anymore. No problem. You see these kids, they're innocent.
But they're
Hello,
not his
guys.
kids.
Hello,
If
boys.
it's
How
not
are
his
you?
kids, it would
Are
have
you
been
okay?
different.
You know, he was just being petty. That's not him. That is not who he really is. He was
I don't think he was being petty. I don't think he was being petty because he does not have any obligation to look after other people's children. No, he wasn't being petty. It's the responsibility of the mom to be able to understand that when she opens leg for one man and she's born one, she opens her leg for another man and she gives birth to another child, and she has children, 4 children with 3 or 2 different men. She should understand the consequences of her action as a mom. So now she needs to be thinking of, how am I going to make sure if one father does for just his own children, how am I going to make sure the others don't form resentment? It's that kind of woman that will go and say, oh, your father just brought food, I threw it away because he did not buy for Joseph, Jacob, and John. And those ones will be saying, yes, mommy, well done. And you're breeding resentment between those children, and she's even causing hate between those children and the brother. But if she comes and says, Jacob's father brought McDonald's, here it is, but let's share it. I know it will be fun. Bring out the chips. Let's count how many it is. Oh yeah, you take 4, you take 5. It will just be a fun thing. Everybody eats and move on, go home and eat. But she wanted to make it an evening food. That is what she wanted to do. And that man was not here for
And the annoying part, if the kids are watching, that's the one
that understand?
Exactly. See, Ogo, see what you mentioned just now. That's my point. Imagine the kids watching every time there's a drama, and then you keep bringing the food and say they should share. Of course, they know there is no love there. You're just trying to force them to accept what's being brought for sharing.
The woman self, she's petty. She's a petty feeling. The woman is petty.
They're the same.
Maybe she just carry the food and go and eat it now. Abi, let her just carry the food and go and eat it.
He knew quite all right the kind of woman he was with. Okay, birds of the same feather flock together.
That's true.
So somebody like me will never, even out of accident, be with that kind of woman in the first place. But that one has happened. It has happened. What's the way forward? You know that your woman
and the way forward, the way forward, the man does not give a fuck about the way forward, because as far as he's concerned, he does not care. Those are not his children. It is the woman that should give a toss about the way forward, because all those 4 children, however different men they are all hers.
Okay, let's shift direction. And in the United Kingdom, they're like, our own racism. We kind of put curry and thyme, we package it so you won't know that they hate you. But in America, full blown none, you are black, they can gun you, die. So shouldn't you as women kind of encourage this man, the one man that can actually be a father figure for these 3 fatherless children, and mold them to be better men so that they don't kind of rot in this system where their mom thinks is their supposed ex-baby daddy or ex-stepfather to be buying them McDonald's. Like, get this man to be responsible for men, like black boys that will be men.
Yuri, another thing you have to find out, like I said before, we need to know the relationship between these two people. If there's no good relationship between these two people, trust me, there's nothing that woman will say to that man that will make him do, especially if she's imposing it on him.
No, forget about imposing. This guy looks like a put-together man that says, bring my child out. I want to do stuff for my child. Shouldn't we ask this man? He's been in that situation. He can help this woman raise the 3 children plus ease so that they can be responsible. Now I'm thinking about the bigger picture here.
Yuri, another thing again is when they were living together, it depends on how the woman lets the man treat these kids. You know, there are some women will be like, oh, these are not your kids. Don't tell them what to do, blah, 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 this, that. So not knowing what that picture is, we cannot really say. But if she wants the man to be a father figure to them, then she needs to mellow down. She needs to calm down, you know? Talk to this man. Try for 2 of them to reason together, you know, to see, assuming the other fathers are runaway fathers, or maybe they've passed or something like that. We don't know. So this one that we're seeing, she can sit with him, bring her pride down, you know. If you need something from someone, you need to come down to the person's level and have a discussion with him and see how the man can help out. With the way what I saw her doing, no man in his right senses will, you know, have a discussion with that kind of woman. She's not well. I think she needs help herself. Trust me.
I don't think so. But Celia, father figure.
Yeah, I completely agree with what August said. And you're right. I think she's overwhelmed with the pressure of looking after those children.
It's not easy.
And she's taking it out on this man who gives a toss about his son. And now wants the man to be the guardian and the gladiator for the other children. And at the end of the day, as I said, you cannot tell somebody how to behave. If he does not care, he does not care. He's not a social worker, neither is he a youth worker. If he does not want to look after other people's children, you know, and the woman is rude as well. Look at her attitude, her behavior. Do you understand? And she even recorded the whole thing and put it on social media. The man was not the one recording. So tell me, is she sane? What kind of relationship does she actually now want that man to have with those children after the public display she made? And everybody was cursing her out on Facebook when I saw that video. So at the end of the day, if she really wants this man, because from what we're seeing, this man seems to be the only one that I don't know about the other parent or about the other father.
To be the only one available.
So if she really thinks that this man can inculcate something into her own children, then she needs to mellow, as you've said, and have a conversation with him and say, listen, you know, the children, the father of these other boys aren't in their lives. I'd like you to step up. Not necessarily financially, but just morally, you know, in different ways that you can step up for these boys so that they have a role model to look up to. But after what she's done, the man is not interested. The man might not even want to come and say, maybe the next place they'll see themselves is in court.
Okay, thanks. Jawadantis, please come in.
So that question you asked, Yuri, that's you even going to the extreme. Taking responsibilities to mold those kids, like mentor them, to turn out to be good so that they don't end up
like the same situation.
In front of the barrel. So that is expensive, that is costly. That full responsibility means he has to be there for them, come every time, this and that. No, I wasn't even going that far.
And they're not even in a relationship anymore.
You know, but he sees his child, so he's present in some way.
I was only even particular about once in a while when you show up. Hey guys, how are you doing? Hey, Shegun, Dakbo, Bayo, how are you? Okay, I'll see you. Them Yoruba names now. Because I wanted to say this. You know, so I'll give them food. Okay, be good to yourself, guys. No fighting. If your mommy reports to me that you're fighting, you are not getting anything next week. You know, that kind of thing. That is not too much. And then disappear. Go do your shit, whatever you want to do. If it is next month you're coming back, come back again. They'll be happy to see you. Hey, Uncle so-so is here. It's nothing. It's nothing. But the truth of the matter is, the lady is a child. The guy too, they're birds of the same feather. But did you guys see the video that the lady made after that?
Yeah.
Explaining herself.
It was what we played earlier. Yeah, go on.
Exactly. So we have to understand that this relationship of a thing, it is not only between the man and woman who are opening legs. Those kids, either they belong to us or not, they are already involved. They've been dragged along. and their opinion, their emotions matter as well. It is not just us alone. So that thing you mentioned, it is costly. I don't think I can do it. The farthest I can go is to buy them food.
But looking at the video, the man wasn't even like being verbally aggressive or any treating the woman bad. I didn't see anything that the man did wrong. Just
and from the sound of the man's voice, you would also hear that he has taken enough shit from the woman as well.
Okay, given what we all have said, do you think that this dad should then file for custody of his child because it appears the mom can't feed him?
I don't think she needs to file for custody. He does not need to file for custody. Maybe he just needs to file for some sort of order where maybe the child can spend the weekends with him and then go to mom Monday to Friday, go to school or whatnot. And then weekend, he picks up the child and brings the child back. That way he can feed his child as much McDonald's as he wants and doesn't have to think of the other children. He can buy his child clothes and he can dote on his child as much as he wants. Because this arrangement that they have right now is not working because that woman is going to make it toxic.
Okay. Jabba Jansis, you were going to say something. Should dad file for divorce? Should dad file for custody?
Yes. Truth of the matter is that can be done. If she's not buoyant enough to look after the kids, that can be done. But the truth of the matter is where that guy is living. Does he have kids with the woman he's living with now? By the time this lady drops the son there or comes to visit the son once in a while, is she going to come with only McDonald's for her own son only as well? Or is she going to buy for the kids that the guy has with the other lady living with him now? Do you get?
It's a valid point, but yeah, I'm sure that the man won't mind since he's only going one pack of McDonald's, right?
Yes, but the truth of the matter is the same way she thinks the man should buy for other kids, I'm sure she will show up buying for the other kids in that house as well.
That woman that I saw in that video, no, she will not buy for if that man was living with his other children, that woman will not buy for them. Somebody that is receiving food stamp, she won't buy.
Well, can I ask, at what point does this stop? Because we're only talking about McDonald's now. So if dad goes out and see clothes, does he then have to buy for the other 3 children? If he wants to take his son to a movie, like Jabadanti said once a month, do they pack all the four? Those movie tickets are not cheap. Or if there's an experience, I want to take my child to go see Kanye West. So at what point is the only food that I don't understand? Jabadanti is making, because I know you were saying that you lived in a similar or you experienced something similar. So at what point? Because now it's getting more expensive. So hold on, Jabadanti. So say for instance, this guy wants to put his child in an independent school. Should he pack all the 4 children straight to independent school?
No.
Okay.
Put all of them in private.
When I started, I mentioned in line with what Celia said, I said, come, show up, say you want to take your child out. Take your child out. Either you're going to cinema, you're going to bowling, you're going to wherever. Let him eat all he can. If you want to buy things for him, buy for him. Come back and drop him. No drama.
But the other kids, they might, at a point in time, sorry to cut you, they might start feeling bad as well, that nobody comes to take them out. Or why is it that is this only child that is being taken out each time? Well, depending on their ages, though, if it's me, I'll feel same way, even if it's not my dad. Why is he the only one that is being taken out?
Do you know these kids, they're very smart. They will go and ask their mom, what happened to our dad? Where is our dad? It's like single mom these days.
Maybe that's all the questions she's already getting from that kid. That's why her body was really peppering her, because she's tired of all those questions.
This is assumption. This is speculation. You can't say.
Hey, but what you have just said is speculation now, that the children will also go to the woman and ask questions. So I'm thinking
that one is not speculation. It happens all the time.
But from the woman is frustrated. If you watch that video, she's frustrated because according to her, the man is always doing it, right? And maybe that's triggering those other children to keep asking her question. What about our daddy? When is our daddy bringing McDonald's? Right? So all that, if the man stops that behavior, those children won't be asking her those questions.
Exactly. That's the point. You see now, that's the point. You don't come doing that alone all the time. You will create trauma in the house.
But does that mean he should
somebody.
stop looking after his son?
No, that's not the case. You're missing the point still.
No.
See, the lady, the mom of the kids, either the guy is there or not. A time is coming when those kids start getting to the age of 10, 11, 12, and they start doing things in school, and they're asking for their dad, oh, your dad should come to this day, or insect day, that day, what day, this and that. They will ask their mom, where is our own dad? Either the guy is good or not. They don't all have to be in the same school.
But Jawajantis, at what point do we ask this mother to step up? Okay.
Go and look for work.
Well, let's blame it on the mom, on the dad. Sorry, she's waiting for food stamp. Yeah,
because I'm thinking this way, like Jawajantis, you said, they have word school day, word father day, word in America, they have so many days, father, son, dance. They're always having something. So at what point does this mom then stand up and start taking response? These are her children too.
So the truth
this is the time that she needs to build a good relationship with the
father that shows up in McDonald's and the
yes,
ones that are in the club spraying street.
Hold on. See, let Jawajantis finish. I'll come to you. Jawajantis, go on.
First year, we have 2 kids, 1 kid here and there, and
here and there. How?
So, like me, I'm here. You're there. She's there.
I get what you're saying.
None of us are parents, but you know how much you pay on each child every day.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Them things cost a lot of money.
4 kids, okay, and it is America. It's not UK. There is a lot of benefits we can enjoy here. In America, the racism is systemic.
Very, very.
Not favorable to the black ones. Now, you see many of them becoming strippers, becoming prostitutes here and there. And before you know it, those kids will grow in that atmosphere where they believe in guns. They too want to be 50 cents. They want to, before you know it, one of them has been gunned down. So I don't want to immediately completely write off that woman. Of course, she's a child. I don't know what they call them in America. I think they call them trap girl or trap woman.
Trap mamas.
Exactly. So him going to her, he already knew what he was going into, going to a trap girl. But she was driving a car. If truly she lives, because I'm beginning to think that video was a skit. If truly she lives on stamps, how has she been able to fund the fueling of her car? Because she did the second video in the car. Right?
Okay, so the way the stamp
why not do Uber with the car?
No. The way the benefit system works is that you can get coupons that you can spend. You get coupons. You get coupons for Target. You get coupon for Walmart. You get coupon for food hall. They get different coupons. They call them clip-on coupons. So the more coupons you can harvest, if you buy petrol with coupon. So they do. Yeah, my mother-in-law used to live in America. So when I go there, like they are just couponing themselves. So some people live on, and sometimes there was a scam that people were running on coupons. So most people, especially people that live in the projects in America, that's like their own benefits issue. They live on coupons. So you get coupons for food, coupon for fuel, coupon for, they even do medical coupons.
So she's living on coupon. And even her that is living on coupon, she knows how hard it is to get real money. And she wants the man to go and spend his own. What if the man is also living on coupon? And she now wants the man to spend his money to buy McDonald's for children that are not his own. I understand that what the man did there is wrong. If it was me, and if I had the money, I would buy for all the children. Even if I didn't have the money, I don't know, but I would try and buy for all the children because that's the kind of person I am. But I cannot expect that because I'm like that, then B must be like that too. No, B might not give a fuck. You born one picking for me, that's all I'm buying McDonald's for. I don't really care about the rest.
And that was what the guy said.
That there are people that are like that in this real life. There are people that are like that.
About being wrong or being right. That guy wasn't wrong to buy food for his son only. Don't get me wrong, he's not wrong. But as a man, as a father, there is something called courtesy demand.
And it's also fathers that impregnate women and leave them. So it's not all father that is a father. It's not all fathers that are fathers,
Yes.
because you have just
Yes.
described yourself, because that's the kind of person you are. But this man might not be like that. The man too looks like somebody that is made for the street. He just wants to dump that McDonald's and be on
Now
his
you're
way.
saying, hey, now we are on the same
But
side.
at the end of the day, that's also his prerogative. He can also be like that because he only has one child. He doesn't need to care about her other children.
No,
But
he may
you,
even
being the
have
kind
other
of
kids
person
with
you
other
are,
women.
you will, right?
He may even have kids with other women.
Exactly. Maybe he has McDonald's run to do, and you are telling him to buy for other children that he may not want.
Demand. You know, I can come into this room now and just totally ignore everybody and face my front. Yeah. And I can come to this room and say, oh, hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Can I please sit beside you? Maybe we're waiting to be attended to. It is demand. You guys are not entitled to my greeting.
Yeah.
Nobody will say, oh, I've done wrong, or what I did is wrong. Oh, like Oleni, you don't have home training. You just came into this place, sat down, you can't even say good afternoon. Or we go to the GP, and while we're waiting to be attended to, I met some people there and they were expecting me to say hello. And because I did not say hello, they just, So
yeah.
It is not, he is not wrong. It's just courtesy demand. It's courtesy demand. Maybe it's my own training that is playing up. They don't have it,
This is really good. I think we're going to round it up here. If there's anything I really liked about it, is that every gender cost out there. So Celia and Ogo went for the woman. You as a man held your own. But if there's anything, I think what should prevail is know your situation. Don't be entering a situation that will not benefit you. If you know that you're not going to be there permanently and be that, because I know we don't plan to fall out of love, but be mindful before you start giving people another child, and women as well, before you allow someone to come in. Like, let me even ask, at what point when you're dating someone, especially when you already have children, at what point do you then, and this goes to the women, at what point do you then introduce this person into your relationship? Because you need to know if they're going to be there for the long haul. So how do you,
them to your children.
So how do you make this judgment call? Ogo, I'll go to you first and then I'll go to Celia.
Oh, yeah. When you're dating this man, you might even tell your kids you're dating someone if you want to, but for me, I'm not going to bring him into my home, even to see my kids, when he hasn't done any commitment. I need to see that commitment first.
Commitment like McDonald's?
Huh?
Like McDonald's? I mean, what's the commitment?
Buying McDonald's for my kids.
You're not
Oh,
nice.
McDonald's.
What is the commitment that you are looking for?
If he wants a good relationship, if he wants us to progress, when I mean good relationship, if he is ready for marriage, something like that. If he's going to take my kids as his own kids, he doesn't have to adopt them or make them have his name. But he knows that I've got kids, so he has to take those kids as his own kids. Then if we're going to live together, we have to, he has to understand that there are kids already in the picture. So that is when I will gradually introduce him to my kids. And I'm not going to start even saying, oh, are we going to have kids or not? Depending on how many I already have, because I know how difficult it is anyway with 1 or 2 kids. I'm not trying to be negative, but you don't know what is going to happen in the future. The man might decide to japa. So if it's only one,
I have touched you. You're japaing now. Continue.
So if we're going to go into relationship then that will progress into marriage, then we have to discuss, have a conversation to know how many kids we are going to have. You understand? Before I will decide if I'm going to even try to have another kid with him. If he already have a kid, good, fair, and then we'll decide not to have another kid. But it's entirely up to 2 of us. That's it.
Thanks, Ogo. Celia, at what point do you do the introduction so that matters that touch the heart like this do not happen?
I think, I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not in that position. I've never found myself in that position, but maybe what I think might be the best thing to do is not to even, I won't even tell them I'm dating. I won't even tell my kids I'm dating because they don't need that information. What are they going to do with it? Because by the time you tell them you're dating 2 months after meeting the guy, oh, mommy, can we see him? Mommy, can we see him? You know, and at some point you're going to give in and say, okay, let me do. So until the man is ready, he's talking about marriage, and you'll see that he's actually making moves. And maybe he's even the one pestering you now. We've been dating for almost 2 years now, or 1 year, whatever. Let me meet, I think I should meet the kids, and then you can then see the willingness and the readiness in him. At the end of the day, all this one is just story. Because even after they marry yourself, they can still drag back. They can still leave, you know. So a man, I don't know, it's hard to say, because a man that is there for a particular reason will only marry you for that reason. And once he has met that reason and fulfilled that reason, he can leave. And he will leave you with his own children plus the one you had before. And then you end up in a McDonald's situation, you know. So I don't know. It's just God. It's just by the grace of God, basically. Okay. You know, I don't know if there's a right or wrong time, really.
Jabadantis, apparently they can serve breakfast at any point. At what point do you introduce children in a situation like this so that you will know that the father is going to be there, not just for McDonald's, but for the long haul?
This question really takes me back to the one you asked before when you said, oh, okay, does this mean men should avoid women who already have kids? See, women with kids, they are very, very nice. Women with kids.
I can't hear you.
Women with kids.
Women with kids. Not all of them are bad though. Women with kids, they've seen it all. They are very, very down to earth. They're very nice.
Especially the ones that don't rely on coupons. Because they make their own money, so they don't have to rely.
So it doesn't matter. Either they rely or they don't rely. You are who
but
you
the
are.
ones that rely on coupons, when that coupon is finished and they have to wait, that waiting period, their body is very hot.
It's not a yardstick to measure it. There are people who come from poor background, they still don't do prostitution. It's not a yardstick to measure. Coupon or no coupon, there are people on benefits. They don't misbehave. And there are people who are rich, they misbehave. You know, so I wouldn't want to use that as a yardstick. There is a lady in Woolwich, she has a big restaurant. Younger, I like to use real life scenarios as examples. She already had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl for the husband, but they're always beating each other. There is always fights, there is always wahala. They broke up, they sent them different ways, gave the husband yards from the house not to come to, and this and that. And she met a friend of ours who had never married before. This guy is in his 40s. And this guy wanted to die there. Like, this is who I will marry. And he married the girl with 3 kids already. And they're living happily till now.
Wow.
5 years. You know, and there are so many other girls like that are single. Yeah. And when you look at their story, there are so many stories out there. Boys will come, they will act like they're the most down-to-earth human being. They will be so nice. The moment they smash back to back, they run. Yeah. And they're smashing them every day. I've lost count in my DM, married women saying, please introduce me to somebody. I don't mind if the person is coming from Nigeria. I will give them papers as long as it's out for them.
Wow.
As long as they're good. Because there is a stage in which they will start losing their mind. It's not easy to live alone with kids, though. No man should pin your neck against the wall. No man should don't be naughty.
Serious.
It's real. It's real. No man to say, I will smack you now. Go and sit down. Hey, your dad is coming. You see. You know all these things. Even if you are not the real dad, everybody needs companion. But when you're going to start a relationship,
you're not a toxic one.
No, everybody does not need companion. Don't let the woke brigade of the feminist movement come for you. Not everybody needs a man.
Those ones.
Don't let them enter your DM. Don't even go there.
Those ones, they're confused feminists. The real feminists.
No, don't say that. That's not true. That's not
true.
No.
Confused feminists. They will say I'm comfortable in my skin, and they will be showing nudity. That's not feminism. The feminism that we grew up to know. They will be in a workplace. They will want the same thing for everyone, regardless of sex. It is not about.
But that's what it's meant to be. But you know what? That's another
story.
Exactly. That's why I call them confused feminists. The real feminist.
And the thing is, I think as women, especially if you already have kids, I think because I know according to people, it's very hard to find a man. But I think when you already have kids, your standard should be a bit high. When I say high, I don't mean the first man that comes knocking, you should just go with them. Because you always have to think about those children, right? I remember Victoria, when there was a time she came on the show on one of the topics, and she said she does not take any man to her house because she cherishes those children more than anything else, because she's, God forbid, doesn't want to take one useless man there now, the next story. Do you understand? Because some women are very forth with, oh, I'm already seeing a man. The next thing, they start introducing the man to their children, and they start saying, call him uncle. From uncle, you start calling him daddy. And before you know it, all the lines are blurred. Nobody knows what is what. And before you know it, that man is out of those children's life. And those children end up emotionally and psychologically a bit damaged. I don't want to use that word. So as women, when you, especially those that have children, when you want to go out with a man, make sure you're looking at a man that can afford certain things. Afford your own, work and have your own money. But at least you should make sure that if you marry this man now, would he be able to look after me and my children? Because when you get married to that man, he automatically becomes the stepfather to those children. And to an extent, those children now also become his responsibility. Don't date a man that can only buy McDonald's for one child and not the rest, even though the rest are not for him. Do you understand? Date a man that will see that, no, if I buy McDonald's for only my own, it's not going to look good for the other ones. Not that he's obliged to, because I keep separating it. He's not obliged, but we just need to be careful so that we do not put our children in an awkward situation where the father that is there versus the ones that their father is not there will not have resentment against each other. And unbeknownst to you, those children have formed lifetime enmity. Because they will say, oh, you always thought because your father is there, you're better than me. Exactly. And that's how it happens.
Okay, so I think we've kind of overflogged this issue, which is something I always enjoy when we do this, is we drill it down and pass a message across. So their mom in America that wants dad to buy McDonald's, step up. Go find your own food stamp, go get a job. I don't have any problem with strippers. So if you can make money out of it, apparently a lot of people quit school in the States to become strippers. That's how much money. I will not suggest that. I will not suggest that.
What is the difference?
There's difference. Let's not blur the lines. Let's not blur the lines. Mom, do what you need to do and let dad that was active be active. Maybe some way
encourage him.
Exactly. You'll get to a place where he thinks, well, actually, I could do more. Let me drag these children, because not only are you alienating a son from the father, you're also alienating a relationship that your other 3 children might benefit from having this male figure in your life. So we're going to
Yuri, let me just say this again, going back to the mom. Now, it's her approach, because as we said, we've already agreed that the man is not under any obligation to buy 4 McDonald's. It's her approach as well. So he brings 1 McDonald's the first day, and you can say, oh, thank you. The one you brought last week, all the kids shared it and they really enjoyed it. It was so fun to see them sharing. You are sending him a message indirectly to say, oh, mom, that McDonald's why I buy no reach. The next time, maybe he might come with 2 meals. Yeah. And then instead of sharing into 4 places, you're sharing 1 meal into 2, 1 meal into 2. And before you know it, the man knowing that, okay, I want to take McDonald's there on Saturday, but let me try and gather money so that I can buy 4 meals. And that's how he would. But when he comes and you are shouting, it's almost as if you feel you're entitled. And he's going to start thinking, no, they are not my children, so I don't need to do nothing for them. But when you approach it in a different way, he will start seeing reasons with you, and he will think, okay, you know what? Let me try and buy 4. Let me try and buy 3. So that's shouting is not always going to get you there.
And that shouting might even make the man stop coming. Now you're coming for children to look after, but it's definitely your footstep won't be enough. So let's leave it as it is until next week, when we come your way with another thought-provoking, street fighting, Twitter dividing, street Instagram and things. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you.